Hey, I'm Jessica, and welcome to Reality Check. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode where I check off your list with Love Island episodes 24 and 25. Cierra has left the villa. Wow. I'm not shocked. Obviously, I'm not shocked. It was crazy to see that it happened so far into the season, like how everything has come up literally within the last 2 weeks of the season. And so obviously, rightfully so, she has been removed from the season, from this show, because she has said racial slurs online. And so, of course, it makes sense to remove her. But it's just crazy that this has happened near the end of the season, whereas with Yulisa, it happened on the second day. And I mean, Cierra was in a couple, like one of the only strongest couples, and so it's crazy. It's just like this whole season is just going on a downward spiral, and I can't even imagine what is going on behind the scenes, what is happening from a production point of view. I would love to be a fly on the wall in those meetings, because after the success of last season, there was so much pressure on making this season a good one. And even us going into it, how can this top last season? And then everyone was like, you can't compare it to last season. Just think about this season as its own. And then you look at all of the discourse that has happened, and we're missing so many of the iconic moments that we typically get in a season. We will not get a movie night, right? The season is wrapping up in a few days. So we're not getting a movie night. We're not getting the Twitter challenge. We have not gotten a hideaway moment yet. So it's just absolutely wild to me. Everything that is missing, like the essence of Love Island to me, is all of those really key challenges and moments, and the hideaway, and the fact that, we've had 2 Islanders leave the villa now due to problematic behaviors and tweets and, things that they said on their end, to all of these things that we look forward to, all of these milestones and events that we look forward to Casa more being an absolute dud. This season is absolutely terrible. And it really sucks, because I've been reflecting on why this season is so much different than all of the other seasons. And I think the biggest thing, and one thing that I saw, is there's a lot of new viewers watching Love Island because there was so much hype around last season. It was such a good season, and everyone just rallied around the cast of last season. And if you weren't watching Love Island, you still knew it was going on. You still knew who Leah was. You still knew who Kayla was. Like, you knew what was going on because they were absolutely everywhere. And so fast forward to this year, now Love Island is absolutely massive. It's topping every single streaming chart. It is crazy, the amount of eyeballs, the amount of people that are watching the show. But with the new people that comes with that, I just feel like it's ruining the essence of the show. And I think a big reason of why that is it's a younger audience, and they're all on TikTok. And I just feel like TikTok is really ruining this show for me. Look, I get it. I have a podcast. I share my opinions, but I'm not volatile in the opinions that I share. And I just think all of these clips and sharing these clips, and my For You page has absolutely been Love Island the past 6 weeks. And again, like I said, I feed into putting content out there for the show, but I'm doing it in a tasteful way. I'm not throwing anyone under the bus. I'm not calling anyone names, right? And there's such a difference, and I don't know, there's just such a different vibe from this season that I've never seen from any other seasons. And I think the product of that is the younger generation, honestly, watching the show, all of them being on TikTok, and just, I don't know, just from seeing, and this isn't solely, like, I'm not talking about why Yulissa and why Cierra got removed from the show. Like, these people digging up things that they've posted and have been a part of in the past. Like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking more about even just the voting. The way that people have been voting throughout the season, like America has been voting throughout the season. It just feels very off. There's just so many, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a season that we have all rallied behind. And I think it's just because collectively so many people are putting out so much negativity towards this season. And I mean, yeah, look, at the end of the day, it starts with the people that are on the show. And I think my feedback to the producers, not that anyone is listening to me, but I think the problem is they are getting people on the show with big amounts of following. Like, Ace came into the show already with almost 1 million followers. Amaya had like 40K. Again, 40K is small, but I have less than 1,000 on my personal account. And I just feel like if you look, I understand that people are coming to Love Island. They know exactly what's going to happen. Their socials are absolutely going to blow up and their life is going to change. But I do think that you can also have genuine people on this show also looking for a relationship, looking for love, looking to explore, like actually looking to dive into this experience. And I don't think we necessarily had that this year. And I think a product of that is like a lot of the people on the show are in that social media world already. And so them going on the show, they're like, oh, I'm going to gain a following. I'm going to pretend like I'm in a couple and then I'm going to leave. So I think there's just a lot of issues right now with the show and why it is a result of essentially how we've gotten to this point. I can only hope that for next season, because look, this show is the show of the summer. If you're not watching it, you know, I'm not jealous that you're not watching it because it is a big commitment. It's a big commitment. So I understand if people aren't watching it, but it is such a big show. You have other shows trying to not rip off what Love Island is doing, but kind of Bachelor in Paradise is back. I will be recapping that, by the way. When the dust has settled with Love Island, I will be absolutely picking up with other shows like Bachelor in Paradise. So I'm excited for that. But they have come out with a new season and it's a whole entirely new look. And everyone's saying, comparing it to Love Island. And it's like, if they're not trying to be like Love Island, like I think then they're already a step behind, because Bachelor in Paradise is already so many steps behind. It's such a kind of like an archaic show. And so, yeah, they need to compete with Love Island. And so even if it feels like it's shot the same kind of segments or whatever it is, like they're just trying to compete with the biggest show of the summer. So I think Love Island, like I feel like they can pick up the pieces for next season and really take this season as a learning, because man, oh man, this season has been excruciating to watch. And we're now in the last week or so. And I have no one to vote for in terms of who as a couple do I actually buy into at this point. There's no one. Like, there's no couple that I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope that they win because they deserve it. I can see the love. I can see them working outside of this. There's no one. Yes, we have Ace and Chelley. Don't buy it. Of course, we have Iris and Pepe. At this point, I'm like, okay, let's vote for them because I actually like them. Do I think they actually are genuinely into each other? Don't think so. I think Pepe is going to leave the island and go right to Hannah. I mean, I love Amaya. I love her so much. And at this point, too, I'm like, give it to Amaya and Bryan. Amaya, take the money and run. And honestly, though, don't do that to Bryan, though, because he is a nice guy. But still, like, it's just like, when have we ever not all band together to be like, this couple needs to win because they are couple goals and we love them and we buy into their love story? Literally, not a single couple is closed off right now. And we are a few days away from the finale. Just take that in. With Cierra being gone from the villa, there is not one single couple that is closed off. That is wild. It is unprecedented. And again, that's why I really just think it all starts with the people that you put on the show. Like, that is obviously your cast. And so you want to make sure you're casting the right people. And if you aren't casting the right people, then you're not going to have a great show. And that this season, it was a product of that. They obviously made a few errors casting, and I think production needs to do a better job of really vetting these people out. And this goes for every single show. I say this literally on every show that I've recapped when it comes to, it's always the dating shows. Love is Blind, The Bachelor franchise, this, now Big Brother, apparently something came out with another contestant. Like, it's just crazy to me how it takes one day of these people to be on social media and the public is able to resurface certain things. Whereas, you know, I'm sure these people were in the running for weeks, if not months, I'm sure. And the fact that production isn't even able to find it is just wild. Like, don't even get me started with what problematic people have been on the Bachelor franchise and people with restraining orders, yet they're still on the show. Like, just don't even get me started, because trust me, it really is on every single show. And so they really need to do a better job, whether they hide a third party to do it, whatever the case may be. It is truly ruining these shows and the enjoyment of watching these shows. Because if you need to, at least for Love Island, because it's live, they can exit them live. But if it's a case like The Bachelor and they find this out after filming has wrapped or while it's airing, well, they can't do anything about it. So anyways, that is my very long-standing rant of all the things, all of the issues, all of the problematic things about this season. I really just hope that in the future they are able to somehow fix everything that went wrong in this season, because I will not do this again. Like, I cannot watch another Love Island season like this ever again. Like, to commit myself to over 30 hours over the course of 6 weeks, plus recapping, plus all that, like, it's a lot of time if you actually do the math that way. And so it's like, why would I, like, if I'm just going to be watching garbage, I can't do it, right? And I can only hope that, again, like I said, they take these as learning. So anyways, let's get into the recap for the 2 episodes, episode 24 and 25. And honestly, I feel like episode 24, really not a lot went down. We saw some conversations here and there. It really wasn't matter of, first of all, the fallout of how America feels about everyone, but then also, too, everyone vying for Amaya's attention because of that vote. She is now Queen Amaya, and everyone knows that Amaya is number one in America's eyes. So that was really this episode. And then, like I said, the next episode we find out about Cierra. And so I'm probably just going to talk about the couples, what happened over the course of the 2 episodes between them, because again, like I said, nothing really happened noteworthy in episode 24, so I'll just kind of combine the 2 as I recap it. So let's start off with right after the vote. So the first thing that we see in episode 24, and like I said, Amaya is absolutely just on top. She is now, and you can see in the editing, she is absolutely getting the most airtime. Obviously, production sees the love that this girl is getting online. The last I checked, which was, I want to say yesterday, she had 1.7 million followers on Instagram, which is absolutely insane. Insane. I don't know if they have seen numbers like this before. I can't remember with Leah. If Leah had, I think she had over, I want to say over 2 million when she left the villa. Like before, when she got home, she came home to over 2 million followers. No other show pulls numbers like this. And that's why I said Love Island is absolutely the show of the summer. Not to say you're living under a rock if you're not watching it, but you kind of are, because look how many people are watching the show. It's absolutely insane. And so now everyone in the villa sees how beloved Amaya is. And the poor girl, she was on this season for, when did she come onto the season? I want to say maybe around episode 8. I don't know. 8 seems like a good number. So she's been on for a while, and the poor girl comes into the villa. Ace tries to couple up with her. Well, he couples up with her, and then that same night, he's like, oh yeah, jokes, I changed my mind. And she then ends up with Austin. Austin and her, literally nothing is going on. She then goes to Casa, and no one chooses to stand on her heart. So the girl has gone through it, and now all of a sudden, you have 3 guys back to back to back after seeing how loved she is by America, vying for her attention and pulling her for chats. Like at one point in the episode, she was like, oh my gosh, I've just been talking all day. I need to moisten my throat. This girl, her one-liners are absolutely killing me. But it's crazy to me. And honestly, on the guys' ends, it's just giving desperate. And are you kidding me, Zach? Literally, in the previous episode, you and Amaya got into a spat and an argument in how much you really just don't see eye to eye and that you aren't right for each other and she's too much and she calls you babe and she wants to kiss you and it's too much. And don't we remember he literally said to her, I'm regretting kissing you that day in Casa? So now this guy, Zach, comes in, oh wow, I need to be with Amaya because she is the most beloved girl in the villa, conveniently. And he's like, yeah, I F with you. And he apologizes to her. Like, I'm sorry, but that isn't just coming out of nowhere. Zach, like, you have a method to your madness. You know exactly what you're doing. And the guy's like, yeah, you're a wicked girl. And, I'm happy that I can move forward with you. And I don't understand because, again, he is literally the first person to be like, no, me and Amaya, we don't match. We're not a good fit. She's too much for me. I need to move on. And now all of a sudden you conveniently want to stay in the villa because that's your only option in order to stay in the villa. And this guy, I said it from day one, he did not like Amaya from the beginning. And I mean, he admitted that basically. And I called it from day one. Look, he just gives off player vibes, the way that he acts, just his demeanor in general. I can just tell that he just had ulterior motives coming on the show. He wanted to build his brand, like whatever he is. He wanted to build his social media presence. Again, it's fine. If you come onto the show to build your brand, it's fine. But you also need to be a nice person and you need to have genuine intentions to actually meet people too. So he had none of that. And so Zach, like, step aside. Like, the fact that you are coming crawling back to Amaya is just laughable and it's embarrassing, to be honest. You should be embarrassed that you need to come back to her because you have no other option. And then we see Elan also pulling Amaya for chat. And I'm like, Elan, I've never seen you chat with Amaya. Like, you've never given her the time of day. And now all of a sudden, you're saying how she looks fine and she looks good. And you're telling her that your favorite food is Latin food. And I'm just like, is it, or are you just conveniently telling her that your favorite food is Latin? And then all the things that she knows how to make, her favorite dishes that she makes, you're falling on your knees being like, oh my gosh, that's my favorite. Like, Elan, I like you, but I also I can sniff it from a mile away. It's just not genuine. And I just find it so hilarious that all these little boys are just trying to really just figure out how to stay in the villa. And I love that Amaya has all the power, because up until this point, Amaya has been like the lone wolf in the sense of like no guy wanted her. And so I kind of love it for her, even though, it's not really giving genuine. I kind of love it for her because even for her confidence sake, I mean, she should read into it and be like, I can see right through you. You guys just want me now because you know that I'm number one. But anyways, I love it for her because I think she deserves it. She's had a really rough go in this season. And I actually really do like Bryan for her. I even said it from the beginning that I thought her and Bryan would be good. I think Bryan was so tunnel vision on Andina because look at her. Andina's a literal bombshell. And so I think he was physically attracted to her, but just based off what he was saying, like they didn't really have good chats. They didn't really have good banter. And you can see that he definitely has that with Amaya. He has the good connection, the good conversations, but they definitely also have a physical connection as well. So I think it's kind of the full package, and they have similar backgrounds, similar cultures. Like, I definitely see them two working out. If I don't know about the long haul, like, they're literally just had their first kiss in this episode. So I can't say it for the long haul, but I mean, for the sake of the show, yeah, I do buy into it, and I do like them for each other, and I do think it's genuine. Like, I don't think he's like the other guys trying to stay in the villa and trying to couple up with Amaya because he's just trying to save himself. I actually think that Bryan is genuine and actually genuinely is into Amaya. So love that for her. And I'll get to Amaya and Bryan. Actually, you know what? Let's just talk about them now. So in the end of episode 24, so the first episode that I'm technically talking about, but I know I'm going between the two, they're in the speakeasy. And honestly, like I said, I think they're just both on the same page. I don't think Amaya likes Bryan more, and I don't think Bryan likes Amaya more. Like, I think they're on the same wavelength, which for Amaya, this whole time being in the villa, she was always the person to like the other person more. I mean, the other person didn't even give her the time of day. So I really buy into them. And remember, Bryan is the guy that came to Amaya's defense in the male challenge. Like, he didn't have to do that. He went out of his way to do that, to defend her when literally no one else did. So I think they've been friends. He defended her, and that turned her head. And then Andina left, and then now it's like, okay, they found each other together, but I actually really do think it's genuine. And basically at the end of the episode, she's straddling him, they're kissing in the speakeasy, and I'm into it. Honestly, I buy it. I buy both of them, and I'm happy for her because, like I said, she deserves it. And let's be real, I think how I kind of see this playing out for the finale, I think Amaya's going to win. Like, I think it's going to be an Amaya and Bryan, just given her popularity. I also maybe could see Iris and Pepe, but I don't think they're collectively, like, I actually, like, think about it. I don't think Iris and Pepe are even collectively as popular as just Amaya single-handedly, right? Like, if you take Iris's followers and Pepe's followers, put those together, I don't think those numbers even equate to Amaya's. So I just think numbers alone, I think it's going to be Amaya. I think everyone is rallying for her. And look, at this point, I get it. It's Love Island, and it's really about what couple that you buy into. Like, who's your favorite couple? But literally, there are no couples. No one buys into Ace and Chelley. They're not in anyone's good books. They were pretty much at the bottom in all of the challenges, or in the previous America voting. Taylor and Clarke, America can't stand them for whatever reason, I don't know. So they're absolutely not winning. Huda and Chris, yeah, okay, that's not happening. And then that's who you have left. So if I can predict, I honestly think it's going to be Amaya and Bryan. I think she is too good of a person to take the money. I mean, is he going to take the money? I hope not, especially after everything that Amaya has been through. I don't see him doing that. But I don't mind if it was Iris and Pepe. I just don't think they're popular enough to win the vote for, number one couple. I just don't. I really just see it being Amaya, and Amaya coming out on top. So yeah, I love it for her, and I'm happy for her because she really does deserve it. Ace and Chelley, honestly, I don't really understand what's going on between them. And throughout these two episodes, we saw them have pretty decent chats. I think one of the chats in particular that they had, and I'm like, why didn't we get this in the early episodes, like just getting to know each other and their backgrounds and their families and the hardships of their upbringing and all the difficulties that they had with their upbringing. Like, not that I'm like, oh, I love hearing those stories. Like, no, but it's just nice to see and hear like the realness of their lives, right? Like, how were they growing up? Like, that's just makes it very real, I feel like, and they're able to connect on a different level versus just being like, oh yeah, so the challenge and I kissed this. Like, I feel like this whole season, And I'm not just even talking about them. Like, we just see surface level conversations. And I think finally, literally a few days before the finale, we're finally starting to see more deeper conversations and just getting to know the Islanders more on a deeper level, and them obviously getting to know each other on a deeper level. I think the issue with Chelley and Ace is I just don't buy it. Like, I seriously don't buy it. I just feel like their whole relationship is a facade. I don't like, they knew each other in the past. Whatever sort of ulterior motive or plan or whatever it is that people are saying that maybe they had going into the villa, if they did, fine, but they're not doing a very good job acting by any means. But I don't buy into them, and I don't understand. Like, they're not gonna win, obviously. And I think with Chelley too, like, she said in this episode to Ace, like, I don't want to explore anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, been there, done that. And the whole exploring Chris is over. Like, I just want to kind of be with you. And Ace's response is like, yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And I'm like, Ace, like, that was your opportunity to take it that Chelley wanted to close things off. Like, her verbatim telling him, like, I don't want to explore anyone anymore is a hint and a nudge to be like, hey, by the way, like, can you close things off? Because that's what I want to do. And he doesn't take the hint. And again, it's like, what are you waiting for, Ace? And that's also why I just don't understand. Like, you're a few episodes away from the finale. How haven't you closed things off? And if Ace proceeds to tell everyone, because he's very loud about it, that he has been Chelley since day one, he's been for Chelley even before coming to the villa, it just isn't adding up. Like, if he was so gung-ho for Chelley and wanted to be with her, he would have closed things off way back then. If not, obviously you're not going to close things off in week 1. Obviously you're not going to close things off in week 2. And maybe you're not going to close things off in week 3. But at least coming back from Casa more, that's when you need to start closing things off. And he didn't do that, and he still hasn't done that. And that's why I just don't buy into these two as a couple at all. Like, there's just something so off about them. I don't know what it is, but just for all of those reasons, it's why I feel like just something is off. And I don't know. And at the end of the day, like I said, they're just not going to win because no one buys into them. Everyone is feeling the same way I am. I don't know anyone that has been like, oh yeah, Ace and Chelley, those two are just riding strong. Like, what a strong connection. I don't see it. So listen, I think good for them for making it all the way to, they've gone in this far, but I think, they're going to make it to the finale for sure, because they're going to need a couple. I'm sure there's going to be another dumping or two before the finale, but there's just no way that, like, I see them getting second to last. If Taylor and Clarke are still in the finale, I see them getting second to last, honestly. Even Chris and Huda, I see getting more votes than them. And like I said, I can't pinpoint exactly what it is. I just don't get it, and I don't see it between them. In this episode, there was the crashing out challenge, and honestly, I don't care for these kind of challenges. Why are we doing these stupid challenges that they do in week 1, literally at the end of the season? And I feel like this challenge was set up super last minute, because literally barely anyone is coupled up with each other. There's so many new couples forming. It's basically set up so that people can selectively choose who they want to kiss, given the fact that, like I said, almost everyone is a brand new couple, right? And so this is where you see Iris and Pepe have their first kiss. And it's, what I thought was also crazy too, is the challenge. I'm so curious how long that challenge went on for. That's what I care about. I don't care about this challenge. I don't care about who's kissing who. I care to know how long was that challenge filmed for, because it was daylight when it started and it was evening when it ended. Like, I can't imagine. And it's not like, I'm sure production was like, let's start this challenge at 5 p.m. There's no way. Like, I feel like a challenge like this, like, look, they have breakfast, they mingle a little bit. Maybe the challenge is starting at noon. Maybe noon. And so you think about all of the filming time and how long they filmed this challenge, because like I said, it ended when it was absolutely dark out. So I thought that was really interesting. That's the stuff I want to know. Like, I would love to hear from a producer on Love Island all the behind the scenes. How long does it take to turn around an episode? Obviously, we know like they're 2 days ahead, but actually, like, how long does it take to turn around an episode? Are they literally like, as the people are literally living on the island, are they taking away footage and putting it together right away? Do they wait a certain amount of time? Like, how do they form these storylines like on the fly? Like, I just find it so fascinating, the production side of it. Yeah, I think that'd be pretty cool to hear from a producer talk about Love Island. But anyways, yeah, crashing out challenge, literally didn't care for it, didn't really see or learn anything new. And like I said, it was just, I think, a last minute attempt to get people, together, that exploring, basically, because the fact that people are exploring in the last week is crazy to me. But I mean, this is season 7, I guess, and season 7 is not like any other season, that's for sure. Listen, if any of you listening has not watched any other season of Love Island, I'm telling you, you need to watch season 6. Thank me later. I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, let's get into it. Cierra has left the villa due to a personal situation. This is what Ian, the narrator, says to us. And, okay, so let's kind of bring it back to what happened and what has gone around online to lead up to this point of Cierra leaving the villa, and basically the aftermath of everything that I've seen since then. I'm recording this episode's a few days after it aired, so quite a few things have come out since the episode has aired that I will also chat about. Basically, everyone listening, I'm sure you all aware, a story that Cierra posted a few months ago went viral essentially recently, of her saying a derogatory slur towards the Asian community. And someone had screenshotted it, obviously, because it's going around. And I guess, I don't know, like, anyways, it doesn't really matter, when it started going viral, when it was shared, whatever. Obviously, anyone can produce anything. I'm in creative. That's what I do for a living. I use Photoshop every single day. So something like, it's very easy to manipulate and to create something to make people believe that it happened. So I'm saying this because obviously this had to be heavily vetted to make sure that it did come from her, right? Like, it's not like producers saw it and jumped the gun and kicked her off the island. They had to do research. They had to do due diligence. Like, there was a lot of things that I'm sure that they had to do in order to then proceed to kick her off the island. So they've obviously did their digging and came to light that this is what she said. And I think, there's also people online saying, I didn't know the certain word that she used was derogatory. I think, look, not everyone is going to know all of the different terms that cultures find offensive to them. And that's why it's very important that everyone educates themselves on what is considered offensive, because, it's just, you don't want to say anything offensive to any culture at all, right? And I think, look, Cierra is learning a very, very, very tough lesson right now. And I think, she's obviously going to speak on it. I'm sure she is back home. I'm sure she's probably very petrified to go on her phone. I'm very sure about that. We know that her parents have her phone. I'll talk about their statement that they put out. And she's learning a very hard lesson, right? And I obviously agree with what the producers did of removing her from the show. That is, not that it's only fair, but that's what needed to be done, right? She crossed a line. She said something, that is a derogatory term online. And so there needed to be consequences for that. We saw that with Yulissa, and now it happened with Cierra. And I can only hope that she learns from this. I'm sure she will. It is obviously bringing awareness to anyone that has seen this. And like I said, a lot of people didn't know that this certain term that she used was offensive. So it's bringing awareness towards that. And like I said, it just also goes to like, I don't know how production can do vetting to that extent, because obviously someone took a screenshot of it and it was on her story months back. So if she wasn't already in talks of being on Love Island 6 months back, I'm sure she was not, then they wouldn't have known that this would have came to life. So I know it's kind of like a very fine balance of the social media activity and stuff like that. But needless to say, it was the right call, obviously, for her to be removed. Now, what I thought was interesting, actually, let's first get into what her parents had posted, her statement, and then also Baldasha has also posted a statement. So her parents posted a story on Cierra's actual, like her Instagram. And it was a very well-written statement. And, you know, I think people just take things too far. And the girl is getting death threats. The girl is getting every single kind of hate known to man. Look, she was wrong. She was 100% wrong in what she said. Like, we are not, like, 100, obviously, we are not saying otherwise. But people don't take it so far. She doesn't deserve death threats. She doesn't deserve that hate, kind of hate, you know, like we're all like, we all agree, collectively agree that that was something that she should have not said. She's going to learn from it. She will speak on it, but people sending her death threats and hate, very unacceptable. Anyways, they posted a story and, you know, call for all the threats and all the hate and all this stuff that it's just, again, like I said, it's just uncalled for. No one deserves it. Her parents are just really asking for compassion, for patience, for really just basic human decency. Like, everyone just caught in the middle of this story. Like, and that's what I said, like, the TikTok of it all, it just has just blown everything up. It's crazy. And like I said, it's Cierra just needs to learn from it. And she needs to come back home, right? She needs to process everything. She needs to learn from it, come out with a statement, and then, you know, show her audience that she still has how she is going to move forward and how she's making just, you know, steps and changes towards just learning from it. And Baldasha has entered the chat too, because Baldasha, and I didn't even know this, Baldasha's mom, I believe, is Asian. And she says, like, in her statement, she wanted to give Cierra the opportunity to speak on it. But then I think what had happened was multiple things that Cierra has either said or written or whatever it was has come out, not just the main one that has surfaced and has gone viral. And Baldasha has basically said, like, I have unfollowed Cierra. I cannot support her by any means. Like, I wanted to wait until she can actually address the situation hands-on, apologize, like, commit to learning from the experience and all that stuff. She was like, before I could actually decide how our relationship would go. But she's like, because all these things have popped up, she's like, I can't be associated with her. I can't be friends with her. So she is just detaching herself from Cierra and is basically not supporting her anymore. Baldasha, she has obviously taken offense to it, and she has decided to not associate herself with Cierra anymore, and that's okay, right? So I think too, one thing, I'm moving away from that now, is let's get into Nic, because Nic, I have so many questions. Like, did production tell Nic what happened? And I have some theories in my head that I think, because on one hand, if production told Nic what happened, first of all, they as in production tries really hard to not input, like, not associate the outside world inside the villa. Like, they want it to be so, they want them to feel like they're in their own bubble. So anything in the outside world, they really try to remove and not really bring into the villa at all. So I can see them not telling Nic exactly what had happened. On the flip side, if they didn't tell Nic what happened and just said it was for a personal situation, then if Nic was so into Cierra, then why didn't he leave with Cierra? Because we've seen it before. I can't remember what season it was on. I think it was Josh and Shannon. I think that's what their names were. Were they on like season 3? Something like that. And I believe Josh's sister had passed away. And it was almost a week from the finale. And those two were the favorite to win. Like, they were 100% going to win the show had they had made it to the end. Obviously, he left the villa. And Shannon went with him. And obviously, these are very, very two different circumstances. But what I'm saying is, if Nic didn't know exactly what it was, then if he was closed off with Cierra and really just loved being with Cierra and being with her in a couple, then why didn't he go with Cierra? Like, why didn't he leave with Cierra? So I don't know. I also am just kind of over them now pushing Nic and Olandria down our throats as Nicolandria now. And I don't know, maybe that was another thing that they wanted to keep Nic there so that he can explore Nicolandria part 2, which I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy, because you guys have already tried. You've already tried exploring, and you said it was literally friendship vibes, and you felt absolutely nothing. So how am I going to believe that you two are actually into each other when you've literally told us already a week or so ago that you're just friends, and he'll always be Nicky Poo to you? I just don't understand. And I don't know, Nic is really confusing me. That's kind of why I feel like his intentions with Cierra never really that genuine. Because in one of the things that he said, I think it was to one of the guys, he was like, now that my strongest connection has left. And I'm like, your strongest connection? Like, what does that even mean? You just close things off. So I don't know. I don't know. I've said this from the beginning. Nic was here for a good time and a long time. He wanted to just have fun. He wanted to explore, but he wanted to make it to the end. And I think things with him and Cierra got too fast, too quick. And then I think he just caught up, and, he's almost in the finale, and he's like, oh gosh, now I need to close things off so that we can have America buy into us as a couple so that we can win this whole thing. So I don't know. I have so many questions about Nic. And also, too, one thing that I, think is an interesting take is, do we think, like, did one of the bombshells maybe leak to the cast why Yulissa left? Because if they had leaked to the cast why Yulissa left, and then now with Cierra leaving, and maybe again they're using the same verbiage of, a personal situation or whatever it is, or is the cast maybe putting 2 and 2 together to say, oh, that sounds familiar? Is it maybe, something similar that happened with Yulissa? Because, like I said, did one of the bombshells kind of leak what happened? I don't know. I think that could also be really interesting. I'm so curious to know what they tell the Islanders. There's also something going around online, and it's not Nicolandria. It's just Olandria, singular, in a confessional. And you can hear a girl, like a female voice, yelling. And people are making up what it's saying, like whether it's like, don't do this or whatever. I can't make out what it's saying. Someone definitely is yelling. It doesn't sound like Cierra to me. It actually sounds like Amaya. And you know how Amaya's super loud? And I think it's just Amaya just being loud. But everyone is convinced that it's Cierra screaming at the top of her lungs, being like, don't do this. Apparently, from what I'm hearing, again, remember, I'm recording this a few days after it was released on TV. So one thing, too, that I've also seen online is Cierra just wanted to, can I just apologize? Can I just apologize? Can I stay? But can I apologize? And obviously producers are like, no, like you've totally crossed the line in everything, in what you've done. So anyways, I'm so curious. We'll get the answers, I'm sure. Like, I'm sure, too, the Islanders probably aren't technically allowed to say what happened and how they found out and what they told them. Like, I'm sure not. But I'm also like, there's so many Islanders, and I feel like some of them probably just don't even care. Like, I don't know if they're on serious NDAs. Like, the people that go on The Bachelor are on serious NDAs. I don't know. So I'm just curious to hear from their perspective how that day went down. Like, I know from what Yulissa said, she woke up, she had breakfast, and then they quietly pulled her aside, and that was it. And it seems like it was kind of similar because we saw Nic and Cierra sleeping in the bed that night. She woke up. We saw her in the where the girls were getting ready, but she was like cropped off, but I could still see that she was there. So it was like she woke up, she was getting ready, and then probably had breakfast while she was getting ready, and then they pulled her. So it sounds very, very similar. And I did forget to say this in the beginning, like, I didn't know what was going to happen, if she was going to be removed or whatnot. And when I was watching the episode, and right at the top of the episode, when they show like the preview for the episode that you're about to watch, they did like a top-down shot. And it was of the girls sitting in front of the fireplace for the recoupling. And I was like, this isn't a lot of girls. Like, this seems like someone's missing. And then so at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, did they actually remove her from the island? Because it just, the math wasn't mathing. It just seemed like there wasn't enough girls in that shot. So at first I was like, did they get rid of her? I was like, maybe, you know, they did do a mass dumping already. So maybe maybe my math is wrong, but no, it was, yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, it is feeling kind of lonely some in here. So anyways, like I said, I think obviously it's the right call. It sucks that all of this has happened, but Cierra is going to learn from this the hard way for sure. And just for everyone, just don't spread hate. Like, there's just absolutely no need. She doesn't need your hate in her inbox. All right, let's get into the other couples really quickly before we talk about the recoupling. So Huda and Chris, I don't buy these two whatsoever at all. I don't buy them. I think Huda is not into Chris, and I don't think Chris is into Huda whatsoever. I don't. Like, I never bought Chris being into Huda. I didn't. And I know that the bombshells know what's going on in the villa and they've seen clips. I actually don't know exactly what the Casa people see. Like, obviously they knew that Huda was a mom because they've seen clips, but like, how, like, I'm sure he saw the way that Huda treated Jeremiah. Maybe not. Maybe they didn't want to expose the Casa boys of like the kind of girl that she is. I don't know. But I just felt like there was something there. Like, there was just something off to me about the way that Chris treated Huda. Not even treated, but like just acted around her. And I mean, I'm just like, he's not that into her. So the things that she says to him, it's just so wild. Like, at one point, she was talking about the challenge. She's like, yeah, you know, I'm surprised that no other guy has pulled me to kiss. And she's like, he's like, why? And she's like, because we're open. And again, it's just like the subtle jabs of like, oh, you know, we're open, so close things off. And I'm just like, but Chris, I don't think wants to close things off with you. Actually, I know he doesn't want to close things off with you. Like, she's literally just trying to put in all of these hints. And every single time I see them together, like up until this point, I've been like, I don't think he likes her. I don't think he likes her. I don't think he likes her. And now I'm pretty confident that he doesn't like her. Like, I think I am reading right through it. And I don't know why Chris is there right now, because, you know, he says, you know, if I wasn't, you know, I don't need to be here, I'd be playing ball in Europe. But I'm just like, then why don't you go play ball in Europe? Because you are literally not into Huda. I don't see it. So they're obviously, you know, they're probably going to make it to the end, because I don't see, I mean, maybe they'll be dumped if there's yeah, actually, America has a vote, so maybe they'll be dumped, but I don't see it. I see, like, Ace and Chelley and Taylor and Clarke being dumped over them, which is unfortunate, especially for Taylor and Clarke, because they're actually, like, a genuine couple. Leading into them, Taylor is really going out of his way to show Clarke how much he likes her. He planned a super cute picnic date. And he never did anything like that with Olandria. And, you know, when Ace went in to go pull in Clarke and make this whole, like, grand presentation for her, Olandria's face was like, okay. Like, literally, I think Olandria, I don't know, but I mean, I hope she's seeing the way that Taylor acts with Clarke and the effort that he puts in with her, because he didn't do that with her. And I hope that she can see that and be like, oh, okay, like, I'm happy for them. They're happy. They seem like a good match, like better than we ever were. So I think Olandria can get there. Like, I don't see Olandria being a petty girl. Maybe she can be. Yeah, she can be. Maybe. But I also just personally think that she'll get past it. But I mean, I don't know. I guess she's going to be with Nic now. So we'll see where that goes, if it goes anywhere. But I just think Taylor and Clarke, the only thing for me is like, yeah, I like them in the villa, but I don't know how they'll work in the outside world. Like, Clarke is giving off a Real Housewives. Taylor is obviously a cowboy. Very, 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 very different lifestyles. And they talk about it, and Clarke's like, yeah, like, I'm not country. And he's like, country, like, let's go ride a bull. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work between them. Look, I like them on the show. I'm happy that Taylor found someone, like a genuine connection, because he just didn't have that with Olandria, you know? And I think that just felt so forced on both ends. I'm happy, at least for Taylor, that he explored Clarke, knowing, I'm sure, like, the discourse that would go around and the waves that it would cause, because everyone loved Olandria, both in the house and outside. So I like that he did that, because he did it, he thought about himself. And at the end of the day, that's kind of what you need to do, right? Like, you can't be on Love Island just to appease people, which I think some people do. And I'm happy that he actually, like, went with his heart and went for Clarke. So I like them. I don't know what the hate is around them. I don't get it at all. And people need to stop that, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. And then again, like, that's what I'm saying. It goes back to all these new people that are watching the show. It's not a popularity contest. Like, I don't care who you like and who you don't like. And if, you know, there's a strong couple, but you hate them and you don't want them to make it to the end and win the show, like, that's not the essence of the show. The essence of the show is who is the strongest couple, because they deserve to win. The money is secondary. And I think that's kind of what's, like, that's what's gotten lost. And it's never, like, money has always been secondary. You're not like, oh my gosh, you win $100,000. That's why it's $100,000, because at the end of the day, you're splitting that after tax. You're literally taking away $25,000 each. So it's not about the money. And so it's not a popularity contest. Who is the genuine couple? Who does everyone love as a couple? And I just think, unfortunately, for whatever reason, it's not Taylor and Clarke. People are just hating on them, but they deserve to be there. So let's get into the recoupling really quickly. And honestly, like I said, nothing was a shock to me at all. For once, which is crazy to me, the girls got to choose and say, I want to couple up with this boy. They have not done that at all. I've been keeping track. The girls have not chosen who they wanted to couple up with at all up until this point, which is absolutely wild to me and very unprecedented. Obviously, Amaya Papaya was the, you know, deciding factor of who was going to be sent home, who she was going to couple up with. Obviously, you know, happy that she chose Bryan and she sent Elan and Zach packing. No surprise there. You know, I have already said in the beginning that they were just trying really, really hard to get her attention, but I'm glad that she stuck to her intuition and she's pursuing things with Bryan. So anyways, yeah, this season is a hot mess express. And like I said, if you have never seen Love Island before, this is the first season that you're watching. I really do apologize. Thank you for sticking with it. But I'm telling you right now, go back to literally any other season in the US version, at least, because it really truly is a great show. And the essence of the show has just gone so lost this season. And I mean, we can only hope that it picks back up next year, I guess. But yeah, we only have a few more episodes to go. The finale is in a few days. And just like every single episode, I will be back in the next episode to recap episode, whatever it is. I don't even know. We're like in the high 20s. When we get to 20 onward, I'm like, everything's just blending in. I'll be back to recap the next episode before you know it. So that'll do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode. Please rate, subscribe, review, do all of the things. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at yourrealitycheck.pod. And I cannot wait to chat with you in the next episode.